10 years of war, 10 more years trying to get home. Odysseus survived giants, witches, storms, and the anger of a god. But the most dangerous force in his story was not the Cyclops. It was his own pride. Christopher Nolan has brought this ancient hero back to the center of popular culture. But the original Odysseus was never a clean, perfect champion. He was brilliant, courageous, manipulative, and sometimes brutally violent. So before you decide whether he was a hero, you need to know the real story behind his journey. Odysseus was the king of Ithaca, a small island kingdom in the Ionian Sea. He was the husband of Penelope and the father of a young son named Telemachus. But Odysseus was not famous because he was the strongest Greek warrior. He was famous because he was the smartest. Greek tradition credits him with the idea of the Trojan horse, the deception that finally ended the 10-year war against Troy. After the city fell, the surviving Greeks began sailing home. For Odysseus, that journey should have taken weeks. Instead, it took another 10 years, and almost every disaster he faced began with the same pattern. Odysseus found a clever solution, and then his pride created a new problem. The clearest example came on the island of the Cyclopes. Odysseus and his men discovered a cave filled with food, cheese, and livestock. His crew wanted to take what they could and leave immediately. Odysseus refused. He wanted to meet the owner of the cave and receive the traditional gift owed to a guest. That decision trapped them inside with Polyphemus, a giant Cyclops who sealed the entrance with a stone no human could move. Polyphemus began killing and eating the trapped sailors. Strength could not save them, so Odysseus used deception. He gave the Cyclops powerful wine and told him that his name was Nobody. When Polyphemus fell asleep, Odysseus and his surviving men drove a sharpened wooden stake into his single eye. The blinded Cyclops screamed for help, but when the other Cyclopes asked who was attacking him, he answered, "Nobody." Odysseus had created the perfect escape. The men tied themselves beneath the Cyclops' sheep and slipped out when the animals were released from the cave. The plan had worked. They were alive. They were back on their ship. And Polyphemus still did not know the name of the man who defeated him. Then Odysseus made the mistake that changed everything. From the safety of the sea, he shouted his real name. He wanted the Cyclops to know exactly who had beaten him. Polyphemus was the son of Poseidon, and now he could ask the god of the sea to punish Odysseus by name. Odysseus had escaped the monster, but his pride had just created a far more powerful enemy. Later, Odysseus reached the island of Circe. She welcomed part of his crew into her palace, gave them food and wine, and transformed them into pigs. Odysseus went after them alone. The god Hermes gave him a magical herb that protected him from Circe's spell. When her magic failed, Odysseus forced her to restore his men. Once again, intelligence had defeated a supernatural threat, but instead of leaving immediately, Odysseus and his crew remained with Circe for an entire year. Eventually, his own men had to remind him that they were supposed to be going home. Circe then gave Odysseus a terrifying instruction. To learn how to complete his journey, he would have to travel to the land of the dead and speak with the prophet Tiresias. For Odysseus, the road home now passed through the underworld. One day became 1 month. 1 month became 1 year. And without realizing it, Odysseus had lost another year away from home. But his journey was far from over.